Now we're going to go right into the different customer types. So there's 4 customer types. One is called the analytical. I consider myself analytical, and so I work well with analytical people because we vibe. We we are probably overthinkers, and we want everything to be right and accurate. And then there's the director. And the directors are sometimes called drivers, or some people call them assertive, because there are people that think. First of all, let me say this about the director, and then we'll go into directors. That they're usually people that they talk a lot, and they think they know it all. And so then there's the expressive, and the expressive people are people that are just like, they're highly expressive. They're they're kind of woo woo. They're kind of all over the place. And they're really about kind of being more performance oriented and expressing themselves, and they're going to want a little bit back of the expression from you as well. And then there's the amiable. These are people that care. These are humanitarians, hardcore. They care about people. They care about results. They care about making sure that everybody is connected and being taken care of. And so those are the 4 types. All right. So the next customer type is director. And let me say this about directors. I'll be honest with y'all, I don't like working with too many directors, because a lot of directors, they know a lot, they think they know everything, and then they talk a lot. And so they don't let you get a word in edgewise. And so I'm kind of like, I always feel like, why do you need me? But let me say this about each of the customer types. This is just a little side note. If they have approached you and want to do a consultation call with you, there is something about their customer type that they see in you. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that, the director type came to me because they thought they could get over on me. No, the director type came to you because they thought there's a director in you that could help direct them. So just remember that. But I will say that, again, remember to use your instinct about whether or not, is this going to be a match or is this not going to be a match? So let me tell you about the directors. They care about action. They're very goal-oriented, and they're very competitive. Another thing is that they are more invested in results. And a lot of times they will seem a little bit cold because they really don't care about personal relationships. They're like, okay, what are we going to do next, Charlotte? What is our next plan of action? What is the outcome going to be? When is that going to happen? They're not going to, like when I get on a call with a director, they're not going to be, hey, Charlotte, how you doing? How's your week going? No, they're going to be like, look, I worked on this. I worked on that. This is what the outcomes were. What else can we do? Blah, blah. They're just like down to the business. They're like, hey, I'm not having no conversation with you about anything else but the work. And if you're the kind of person that needs to have that little like small talk, you may not want to work with directors. I will say this. I sometimes have to backpedal and try to get out of my contracts with directors because a lot of times they're just overwhelming. There's just too much energy for me. And while I feel like I can deliver, sometimes I feel like I can deliver as a director to a director. Sometimes I just don't want to spend that energy doing that, And so, yeah. They care deeply. Another thing about these directors is that they care deeply about the bottom line. So they want things to happen. They're very decisive. And they're quick. They do the work quick. They're highly motivated. That's the thing about a director. And you have to be careful about when you get into consultation calls with the directors because they are highly motivated. They're highly self-motivated. And they will actually do stuff. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we really want to work with those kind of people, right? Because then those people can give us testimonials. But you got to be careful about that because, they may be highly self-motivated. And they may actually get stuff done. But they also could maybe be a little bit abrasive, or they may be a little bit too demanding. And so in some respects, you may be getting some results, but then you may feel like you're going one step forward and 10 steps backwards. So I just say really be careful about assessing that and figuring that out because it can be a little tricky. It's a thin line. And then they also want information. They want it fast, and they might become impatient with you. And they don't like for you to speak in abstractions. Again, you got to be specific. Like, what is it? What is task A? What is task B? What is the outcome? So directors are, again, they're just highly demanding people. And so you got to think about it. Is this the kind of people you want to work with? They may or may not be your ideal customer. But some may be okay. You know what I mean? So don't feel like, I'm never going to work with directors. Just remember that maybe some you will work with and some you won't. And some of you out there might be saying, I want to work with a director all day long. I got something for the directors. And I know some of you entrepreneurs out there are directors, and you you are good at it. And I've worked with you, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy your directing me. And I love the fact that we can kind of banter back and forth as directors, and because sometimes that's a very highly intellectual, stimulating environment. And then also professionalism is really important. I'll say this with a director. You know what? Don't do a lot of small talk unless they invite you to do small talk. Don't talk about your personal life and other things, or make opinions, or talk about political stuff unless they invite you. And then also be cautious when they do invite you. My thing is, I would just stay away from any of that kind of conversation stuff that could cause any friction. Just even if they do invite you, just be like, nah, never mind. You know what I mean? Just say you're right and whatever you think. My thing is, you just don't want anything to happen. So what is it that a director needs? They just need results. They need to know that stuff is happening. And some strategies you can use to communicate with them is just be efficient. Tell them exactly. Don't add a whole bunch of fluff. Don't pussyfoot around. Don't be passive aggressive. Just tell them straight on. Be a straight shooter. They will appreciate that. And then also be thorough. Let them know everything. And then allow them to ask questions, because the more questions they ask and you can answer them, the more secure they will be. Also, when you're communicating with directors, you want to emphasize how really the product or outcome that you're offering them is going to solve their problems. Like, look, director, you've got an issue right now. You're not able to get any online customers. We're going to do X, Y, and Z, and watch online customers come to you. They're going to appreciate that. They like that direct, succinct communication style, and they want to know what is it going to do for them. Other thing is that one of the things you could do too, and I wrote this down, was you could tap into their competitiveness and show them how the results, right, will do a couple of different things. It will put their company on the leading edge and also make them a leader in their industry. So, you know what I mean? Like, pump them up, because that's what directors want. They want to be right and they want to know it all. So do what you can to continue to, support that directorship. And then also make sure you deliver. Like, and again, when I say deliver, I mean over deliver. And then follow through. Like, check in with them and make sure, like, did everything go as planned? Did you really like what happened? Are you happy with the fact that you got 100 new customers this month? Really kind of just be in a communication mode with them, be committed to them, and then also follow through. But before I go on to that, I want to talk a little bit, just say a little thing about directors. I would say be specific. And when you create a contract with the director, make sure that you keep, what happens for me when I work with people is we'll do the consultation call, and then subsequently what happens is I give them assignments to do. They have to fill out this questionnaire about their business and what it is, their goals and objectives, and what they want to do over the next 3 to 6 months, whatever they want to do in terms of working with me. And then also I send them my contract and I tell them to read it. And then I tell them, this takes probably about another week. And then I will say to them, let's get on another call where I can answer any questions you have about the contract. And then I can ask you questions about the information that you provided me on the questionnaire. And then subsequently, if we both agree at the end of that call, then you will pay me for my services and we will start. I will say this about directors. If they don't follow that process, I don't work with them. I've had directors didn't do the questionnaire and didn't read the contract, but then paid me. And what I did is I immediately refunded them their money and said, look, in order to work with me, I have a process. It includes you filling out this questionnaire so that I can get certain information about your business, and you need to read the contract so you understand what the expectations are as it relates to our working relationship. And then you have to do the call. So step 1 is just the questionnaire and the contract. Step 2 is the call. And then step 3 is the money. We don't even get to the money until after those first 2 steps are done. And sometimes they will just try to bypass. And my thing is this: when you're working with a director, stand your ground. And I know a lot of times, and I had a director who wanted to work with me, who gave me $25,000. And yes, that was a lot of money to have to return to somebody, especially when it's sitting up in your bank account, right? It's like, whoa! Anyways, but I immediately returned their money because they did not follow my process, which says to me right off the bat, you're not following through on your commitment to me. And then, which means that our working relationship is going to be really unpredictable and probably is going to make me miserable. It's probably drain me in terms of my time and my energy. And I don't want that. And that's not worth $25,000 to me. No way. At least follow the process, right? So I will say, just kind of when you're thinking about dealing with directives, and I would say that's true for all of the different customer types. Look, get specific and have a process for how you're going to work with people. And then if people don't follow through, be willing to give that money back, because sometimes they will try to pay you and think they don't have to follow the rules. And then you feel obligated, like, oh, I got to work with them because they pay me. No, you don't. You can return the money. And I know you probably needed the money, but you return the money because you don't want your life to be a miserable hell.